There is a 7-seat Lexus sitting on a forecourt in this country right now that cost £65,000 when it was new. You can buy one today for about $20,000. Nobody wants it. Not because it breaks, because of the shape of the grille and the badge on the boot. 3 cheap SUVs everyone ignores. 3 down to 1, and the gap between what these cost new and what they cost now gets more ridiculous with everyone. Number 3. £6,000. That is what you pay for a Suzuki Vitara with a 1.6 petrol engine, and it is the cheapest way in Britain to own a 4-wheel drive SUV that will not send you a single frightening bill. Let me tell you about the customer who taught me to say that out loud. Bloke in his 50s, works shifts, drives about 9,000 miles a year. Last spring he asked me to look over a small turbocharged crossover he was about to buy. 3-year-old car, low mileage, £8,500, and the salesman had told him it was practically new. I looked at the engine and I looked at the service history, and I told him the truth. That engine has a cam belt that runs inside the sump, in the oil. Round here we quote that job at £900 to £1,200, and it was due within 18 months. He was about to buy a £900 bill and pay £8,500 for the privilege of collecting it. He asked me what he should buy instead. I told him to go and look at a Vitara. Now, here is why. The 1.6 petrol in that car is naturally aspirated. There is no turbocharger. It runs a chain, not a belt, so there is nothing in the oil waiting to shred itself. It is a petrol, so there is no particulate filter to block and no exhaust gas recirculation valve to clog solid at 80,000 miles. There is no AdBlue tank. There is no dual mass flywheel being shaken to pieces by a rough diesel, because there is no diesel. It is a light car with a simple engine in it, and Suzuki have been building that engine family for decades. Ask any independent garage in this country what they see when a Vitara comes in. Oil, filters, brakes, tyres. That is the list. It is noisy on a motorway and the interior is hard plastic. That is what £6,000 buys you. Now the money over 3 years, because this is the part people never work out. On the Vitara, you are paying somewhere around £200 a year for servicing at an independent. Nothing else is scheduled. No belt, no filter regeneration, no turbo actuator. On that little turbo crossover he was looking at, the belt alone works out at roughly £350 a year once you spread it across its life, before you have replaced a turbo at £900 to £1,500 or paid £300 to £600 for carbon cleaning that comes back again. Call it £500 a year of difference every year, and he saved £2,500 on the purchase price as well. He bought a 66-plate Vitara with a full history for £6,200. 14 months later, it has had 1 service and a set of front tyres. £6,000 for a 4-wheel drive SUV that costs less to keep than a mobile phone contract. And remember, number 1 on this list costs £65,000 new. That is the cheap one. Number 2 is the one where the previous owner leaves you something in the boot, and most buyers never even check for it. I am Roy Stroud. 45, 22 years in independent workshops in the Midlands, never worked for a dealership in my life. Nobody pays me to defend a design decision. Hit subscribe. This one could genuinely save somebody a lot of money on their next car. None of this is my opinion. It is DVSA and MOT failure data, published manufacturer warranty terms, and what comes through the door of an independent workshop every week. Number 2, around £10,000, 7 seats, 4-wheel drive, 2.2-litre diesel. The Kia Sorento, the 2015 to 2020 car. British buyers still will not touch a Kia at this size because a chunk of this country has the brand filed under cheap runabout and has not updated the file since about 2005. That snobbery is the entire reason the price is where it is. Here is what you are actually buying. The 2.2 common rail diesel is a proper engine. It is not a small unit being strangled to hit a company car tax band. It is a big 4-cylinder built to pull a caravan up a hill without complaining, and it runs a chain rather than a belt. The gearbox is a conventional torque converter automatic, not a dual clutch. That matters more than any brochure will tell you. A conventional automatic wears slowly and warns you. Nobody in this trade misses the dual clutch boxes of that era. And now, the bit that is worth actual money to you. Kia sell their cars in this country with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and it transfers to the next owner. not a goodwill scheme, not a paid extended policy. The remainder of the original manufacturer warranty follows the car. So a late Sorento, one of the last of that generation, can still be inside its original manufacturer cover on the day you buy it, on a £10,000 used car with no extra to pay. Check that. Ring a Kia dealer with the registration and ask what date and mileage the warranty expires. It takes 90 seconds and almost nobody bothers. It drinks fuel round town for a diesel, and the third row is for children rather than adults. Now the comparison, because that is where the numbers get uncomfortable. Put it next to a 2016 Land Rover Discovery Sport with a 2-litre diesel. Same 7 seats, roughly the same money on a forecourt today. Round here we quote a diesel particulate filter replacement at £1,000 to £1,800. We quote a turbocharger at £900 to £1,500. We quote an exhaust gas recirculation valve at £500 to £700. Any two of those inside 3 years and you are at £2,500 on a car worth £12,000. That is £800 a year, every year, just to stand still. On the Sorento, if the warranty is still live, some of that is not your bill at all. And if it has expired, the parts are ordinary, the labour times are ordinary, and any independent in the country can do the work without a franchise login. 7 seats, 4-wheel drive, chain driven, possibly still in warranty. And it is cheap because of 4 letters on the boot lid. Quick favour before the last one. If this has already made you rethink what is on your shortlist, tap like. Costs you nothing. Number 1, by the way, is a £65,000 car you can buy for 20. Cheers. Number 1, £20,000. The Lexus RX 450HL, the 7-seat one. Most people watching this did not know it existed. Lexus stretched the RX, put a 3rd row in it, filled it with leather and sound deadening, and sold it in tiny numbers against the German 7-seaters. It cost north of £60,000 by the time anybody had ticked a box. The market ignored it for 2 reasons. The styling divides people straight down the middle, and the badge does not impress anybody in a car park. Let me tell you what it is underneath, because this is why I keep putting customers into them. A 3.5-litre V6 petrol running the Atkinson cycle. Chain driven, no turbochargers, no belt to change, no particulate filter, because it is a petrol. That engine family has been in Toyota and Lexus products for the best part of 20 years, and it is one of the most proven 6-cylinders ever built. Behind it sits the hybrid gearbox, and this is the part people misunderstand completely. There is no clutch pack in there. There is no torque converter. It is a set of planetary gears and 2 electric motors. There is essentially nothing in it that wears out the way a conventional automatic does. The brakes last an extraordinary length of time because the car slows itself on the motor and the pads only do the last bit of the stop. I have had these in at well over 100,000 miles, still on their original discs. Now the victim, because there is always one. Customer of mine, semi-retired, needed 7 seats for the grandchildren. He had a German diesel SUV of the same age. Over 3 years it had a particulate filter, an exhaust gas recirculation valve, a set of injectors, and then the timing chain started rattling on cold start. That last quote alone was over £2,000, because on that engine, you go in from the back. His running total across 3 years was north of £5,000, on a car worth about 11. Call it £1,700 a year, every year, just to keep it on the road. He part-exchanged it and bought a 2019 RX 450HL on 62,000 miles. 2 years on it has had 2 services, 1 set of tyres, a 12-volt battery, and a set of front pads. Under £1,400 in total. That is the whole video in one driveway. The touchpad controller is genuinely awful and the boot is small for a car this size. Those are real complaints and you should test both before you buy. Now 3 things that turn this from a nice idea into a decision. First, the clean air zones. It is a petrol. It drives into central London and every clean air zone in Britain and pays nothing. No charge, no argument, no worrying about what the next city announces. The diesel 7-seater that was supposed to be the sensible choice does not have that luxury. Second, the warranty, and hardly anybody uses it. Toyota and Lexus run a service-activated warranty. Every qualifying service at an official centre gives you another 12 months of manufacturer cover, again and again until the car is 10 years old or has covered 100,000 miles. It applies to used cars. It does not need a perfect previous history. Work out what that means for a retired buyer doing 8,000 miles a year. You will hit 10 years of age long before you hit 100,000 miles. That is manufacturer-backed cover for the price of a service. Third, the question everybody asks. The hybrid battery. In this trade, it is the thing that almost never comes in. When they do eventually go, reconditioned units through a hybrid specialist typically land somewhere in the region of £800 to £1,500 fitted, and there are plenty of those specialists in Britain now. Read that number again, then read the £2,000 chain quote again. The honest limits are simple. It is a big petrol V6, so around 30 to 35 miles per gallon on a run is realistic, and the road tax is not cheap. This is a car for somebody doing 8,000 or 9,000 miles a year in enormous comfort, not 200 miles a day up and down a motorway. £65,000 of car, £20,000 of money, 7 seats, a V6 that will do 300,000 miles. And the only reason it is cheap is that the shape upset people in 2016. That is not a compromise. That is the biggest gap between price and reality on any forecourt in Britain, and hardly anybody is brave enough to take it. Quick recap. 3. The Suzuki Vitara 1.6 petrol. 2. The Kia Sorento. 1. The Lexus RX 450 HL. Here is the honest takeaway. All 3 of those are cheap for a reason, and not one of those reasons is mechanical. Wrong badge, wrong shape, wrong decade of fashion. The market price is reputation. The workshop price is reality. The gap between those 2 things is where your money is sitting. So do 2 things before you buy anything, and both are free. First, write down the exact engine and get a price for every expensive failure on it. Turbo, belt, chain, particulate filter, gearbox. Add up what those are likely to cost over 3 years. If that total is more than the car is worth, you are looking at the wrong car, no matter how good the badge looks on your drive. Second, ring the manufacturer's dealer with the registration and ask one question. What warranty is this exact car still eligible for? On a Kia, it might be years of original cover you did not know you were getting. On a Toyota or a Lexus, it might be a warranty you can renew every single year with a service. One phone call, and it can be worth more than every extra you will ever be sold in a showroom. Now, I want to hear from you. What is the SUV you were told to avoid that turned out to be the best car you ever owned? Put it in the comments with the mileage on it, because that list is worth more to the person shopping this weekend than anything a magazine will print. If this helped, hit like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Look after it, and it will look after you. This video is based on publicly available recall notices, manufacturer statements, published warranty terms, reliability surveys, and independent trade evidence current at the time of publication. Individual vehicle outcomes vary. Prices, tax rules, and warranty terms change over time, and some models may have had subsequent updates, recalls, or improvements. Nothing here is a substitute for a qualified inspection of your own vehicle. Always obtain current information and independent advice before making any purchase or repair decision.